Hi, Math Enrichment 7. Today we are going to work on finding percents with a double number line. If you were with me in the first semester, then you may remember this. If you were new to me in second semester, then this should be all new to you. Mr. Rubio's class is going to be starting on this very soon. I think maybe even already have started this week, and Mrs. Parati is going to be starting soon. Okay, take out a piece of paper, title it Finding Percents with a Double Number Line. Pause this recording if you need more time. Okay, we're just going to move on quickly. You pause the recording at any time you need time. I want you to write all this down. You'll take a picture at the end and submit it on Google Classroom to me for your assignment. We're just going to work along together today. All right, here we go. Okay, for the first problem, let's find 30% of 150. So we're going to make a double number line. And on the bottom, we're going to put percents. So we're going to go from 0% to 100%. So 100% is the whole amount. So they're already giving us the whole amount that we have. The whole amount we have is 150. So we're going to put the plain numbers on the top, 150. And what we're going to do is we're going to break this down into two special percents, the 10% amount and the 1% amount. So if we are to find the 10% amount, that's going to be, the way you think about it, if you were going to get from 100 down to 10, you would have to divide by 10 to get there, right? So what's 150 divided by 10? Well, the nice thing about this is you're really just taking 150, which could put a decimal at the end, it's a whole number, and you're just moving it over one decimal place to the left. So if you take 150, divide it by 10, you're going to end up with 15. Now we're going to do that same process again. We're going to go find the 1% amount. So if we take 15 and we want to find, we want to divide that by 10. So we're going to take 15 now, another whole number, divided by 10, just move that decimal to the left, and you end up with 1.5. Once you find the 1%, that's like your unit rate, you can find any percent you want. So let's think about it for a minute. We are looking to find 30%. 1 times what gets you to 30? Well, obviously it's 1 times 30. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take 1.5 times 30. Go ahead and take your calculator out and see what that comes out to. Okay, sure enough, 45. So now we know that 30% of 150 is 45. That's your answer. 45 is 30% of 150. Okay, write that down. You could have used the 10% amount on here. So if you take a look, if you know 10% and you're trying to get to 30%, you could have just multiplied that times what? 10 times what is going to get you to 30? That's right, times 3. So you could do the same thing here with the 15. 15 times what is going to get you to this missing amount? 15 times 3, the same amount. So 15 times 3 also equals 45. So that's a little shortcut because we have a really nice friendly percent that we're finding. It's a multiple of 10%, so that makes it really easy to find. Okay, let's try the next one. So again, I want this on your paper. This needs to be on your paper. Pause it if you don't have it before we move on. Okay, let's go back to starting some more. Okay, I'm going to get back to blue. Okay, here's the second one. Let's find 22% of, let's do 180. Okay, so let's make our double number line. So we're going to have 0% to 100% on the bottom. Again, the percents are going to go on the bottom. We're looking to find 22%. That's what we're trying to find. We know the total amount, the 100% amount is 180. That's all of what we have when we just want part of it. So all of whatever it is that we have is 180. We want to find 22% of that whole amount. So we're going to start by finding those key percentages, 10%. And to find 10%, we're going to have to take 180 and divide it by 10. So just like 100 divided by 10 gets us to 10%, 180 divided by 10 is going to get us to what we need here. And when you divide by 10, all you're really doing is moving your decimal place over. So 180 divided by 10 is just going to be 18. Again, you can use a calculator for this if you want to, but I'm trying to show you just how easy it is to find the 10% and the 1%. You're just moving the decimal places. Okay, so now let's get the 1% amount. So if I'm at, if 10% is 18, and I want to find 1%, then I need to take 18 and divide it by 10. Okay, I'm going to go back over here in the corner. So if I have 18, the decimal come after, it's a whole number. And if I want to divide it by 10, I'm moving that decimal one place to the left. So 1% is 1.8. Now that I have 1%, I can find any percent I want to. So think about it. 1 times what gets me to 22? Obviously, times 22. So now I'm going to do the same thing to 1.8 to find the missing number here. 1.8 times 22 is going to get me to my answer. So go ahead and use your calculator. I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to use my calculator. All right, so 1.8 times 22, that comes out to 39.6. So our answer is 39.6 is 22% of 180. There's our answer. Write that down. Again, all this work you need to have on your paper. Give yourself plenty of space on this. Don't be afraid to move on to the back if you need more space. Don't try to squish this in. We're not going to do too many problems. You'll have, give yourself plenty of room. Again, pause this if you need more time. I'm going to move on, though, just in case you need to redo this, or replay it, so it's not too long. All right, let's go to number 3. Number 3. Let's do 45% of 90. So again, we're going to set up our double number line. Starting to get the idea with this? We're going to put our percents on the bottom. So 0% and 100%. And what's that 100% number? We already know it. What's the total amount that we have in regular numbers? The total amount is 90. So let's put 90 up as our whole amount. Remember, 100% is having the whole thing. And we want to get to 45%. That's just a little bit less than the halfway point, right? Okay, so let's find our key percents. And those are 10% and 1%. Let's go find 10%. So to find 10%, we're taking 90 and we're dividing it by 10, which means we move the decimal place over 1, and that's going to give us 9. Now let's go to 1%, which will be way down here. If we have 9 and we're trying to find 1%, we're taking that decimal, moving it one place to the left, we're going to end up with 0.9. Now we have what we need. So 1 times what makes 45? Obviously, 1 times 45. And now we're going to multiply that same number times 0.9. So 0.9 times 45. Take your calculator out. 0.9 times 45 equals, we end up with 40.5. So there's our answer right there. So 40 0.5 is 45% of 90. There's your answer. Okay? We're just going to do 2 more and then we're done. Okay, number 4. Let's do 75% of, let's do, I don't know, let's do 32. So draw your double number line. 0% at one end, 100% at the other. What's our whole amount, the 100% amount? It's 32. Let's put that on the top of our double number line. Again, percents on the bottom, regular numbers on the top. And we're trying to find 75%, so that's going to be down this end, 75%. All right, let's find our key percents. Let's go down to 10%. So again, this is the mental math. If we've got 32, that's the 100% amount, and we're trying to find 10%. We're going to divide it by 10. So move that decimal place over, and you're going to end up with 3.2 for your 10%. If we then want to go to our 1% number, well, if you have 3.2, you're going to have to divide that by 10 and move that decimal over. And so you're going to end up with 0.32. Now we're ready to go. 1 times what makes 75? Well, obviously 1 times 75. So 0.32 is also going to have to get multiplied times 75. Take your calculator out. 0.32 times 75 equals, comes out to 24. So our answer is 24 is 75% of 32. Okay, last one. Okay, number 5. Let's do 95% of 10. So again, we're going to make our double number line with 0% and 100%. What's the whole amount? That's right, 10. So we're trying to find 95%. That's almost the whole amount. We know it's going to end up being close to the whole amount. So it's going to be some amount close to 10. Let's first find our 10% amount. So if we have 10, and that's our 100% number, and we want to divide it by 10 to find our 10%, it's going to be 1. And now we need to find our 1% number. So if we have 1 decimal after, and we're trying to divide that by 10, move it over, and this is going to be 0.1. So 1 times what makes 95? Times 95. And so 0.1 times 95 is going to give us our answer. So go ahead and put that in. 0.1 times 95 equals, and we end up with 9.5. That makes sense, doesn't it? So 9.5 is 95%, or almost all, of 10. Yeah, 9.5 is really close to 10. It is almost all of it. It is almost there. Okay, that's it. We'll do a little bit more practice with this on Thursday. Go ahead and make sure you submit that to Google Classroom. Take a picture of it and submit it to Google Classroom. And we'll see you soon. Yeah, you guys didn't have any Excels to do? I don't think so. So I think you'll be all set.